to trouble Rolly like some people has. Broner is one of those dudes that can catch you slipping too, still, and I think he'll catch Rolly slipping and get Rolly out of there.
Well, hopefully that could be a possibility too. What would you think about a Ryan and Adrian?
Uh, that's difficult, but I would go with Ryan. I think Ryan's fresher, has a lot more to prove. Ryan kind of cares about his career more than Broner does at this point. So I can see Ryan being up for it more than Broner. You know, that's the problem with Broner. It's like he's one of those guys that if Broner at his best, I would favor him with a lot of those guys, but he just doesn't take his career seriously. Even when he does it, he still, you know, he shows toughness. Like he doesn't get knocked out or anything like that. But I mean, unless he takes his career serious, I would favor Ryan in that fight.
Yeah, you can see. He remember I had them 3 drinks up, at the start of the show. That's what he looked like right here.
Yeah, man, like he just made weight, got that pot belly still. He just made weight. That's
He's not too far removed from the margaritas. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, we're gonna welcome our guy. Ty Finney in the building.
What's up?
What's good, Ty?
Salute, man. Salute. Glad to come on, man. Y'all in here cooking. So I said, let me jump in.
Yeah, come on, cook with us, man. Look, do you mind if we go ahead and get your thoughts on some of the bouts that took place yesterday? Did you get a chance to see? I know you saw. Well, actually, you saw all of them based on the comments that you made. So first and foremost, let's go ahead. And you see right there, that's my main man, Bud Crawford. July 30th. That's how you're gonna be looking.
It might be Spitz too, man. I think they both gonna be lumped up a little bit.
That's what my prediction is. That's gonna be Bud right here. You understand me? But Bill is more than welcome to have his own opinion. You understand me? But your thoughts on the takeover yesterday, man? Him and Josh Taylor. What did you think?
Yeah, it's one hell of a fight. I did, like Val said, I noticed the difference, in his size. Josh Taylor looked a lot bigger, looked a lot taller. But it was a good fight. It was a good fight. Both guys got cut up. Both guys had some bruises on their faces, so they both were putting in work. But I know Tefimo, man, like I said, he was in his groove, man. He was showboating. So he was definitely feeling high himself, So I think he made a statement. He made a statement with that performance. He was an underdog in this fight. So hats off to him. He did his thing. But this retirement talk that he's doing, man, I'm not feeling it 100%, man. I think it's just going to be brief, and then he's going to make another splash. Have another awesome comeback for sure.
Yeah, man, I think that's just T.O. being T.O. In a moment, he says certain things. Those guys, there's a lot of them out there that appear to be a little wacky, his counterpart Ryan Garcia does stuff like that. He don't necessarily announce retirements, but he'll say something like, "What you talking about, bro?" You know what I mean? Hey, young, he's going through a lot in his life. It seems like he's able to compartmentalize things a lot better than he did when he first experienced the heartbreak of what he was going through personally. And so that's the thing. It's about the bounce back. You know what I'm saying? So, the chaos that it seemed like that was going on, like I said, that compartmentalization process was much better. He found an opponent. I think Taylor is tailor-made for Tio. You know what I mean? Based on his style. Some of the other guys that he's been facing as of late, and the personal stuff. I think the personal stuff was really, messing with him. Also, starting to acclimate himself to 140. You know what I mean? He got that process going on. Then they put him in with a cutie, Sander Martin. He's over there trying to knock Martin's block off because he's like, man, this dude right here, no power. I'm the takeover. I got, powerful punches in both hands. I'm just going to clock this dude, get him up out of there. But that's the same thing that Martin wants you to do. And so he looked bad in that fight, began to question himself. But he had the perfect dance partner yesterday because Josh Taylor, for when he fought the wrong fight, he's sitting up there thinking he's just going to slug it out, thinking that he Deontay Wilder, going to hit him with one punch. Like, dude, you don't even punch like that. You know what I'm saying? To be sitting up here trying to, use that strategy. And Tio took full advantage. And they said that before the fight as far as, like, we're going to box the shit out of this dude. and hats off to them. Also, what did you think about McGee? Did you think McGee won yesterday? Did you see that fight first and foremost? Did you see the whole fight? And if so, what you think about Jaime?
Yeah, I saw it. I watched it up to the point until I switched over, to Taylor and Teal. It was a good fight, man. Both guys had their moments. Like the first round, I gave it to Derchenko. Second round, I gave it to Munguia. Third round, I gave it to Derchenko. But yeah, both guys had their moments. Like I said, Derchenko landed some shots that snapped Munguia's head back. Had him like fighting on the back foot and had him against the ropes. And then Munguia had his moments where he was throwing like crazy combinations and landing big shots. So like both guys, it was a good fight. But unfortunately, Derchenko, man, he always comes short. He comes up short against the big names, man. I hate to see it, but he doesn't really have a lot of fights under his belt. So to me, he's still a good fighter, a fresh fighter. But unfortunately, man, he just always comes up short against these guys, man.
Yeah, he stuck around in the amateurs for quite a while. It's just with him, he don't have that one very solid man, like across the board. But if he just had like a little bit more power, a little bit more zest or je ne sais quoi, I think that he would have had, at least one of those fights that could have went his way. And I think that he could have more of a following and backing. But unfortunately, he doesn't. And he's just had bad luck, bro. Like that, going into that 12th round. And check this out. When I was watching the fight, I'm like, damn, I'm looking at Munguia. I'm like, bro, look tired. Like, I don't know what he going to do, this last round. Then they pan over there to Derchenko, and I'm like, damn, is he going to be able to get out of his corner? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he looked worse. And so what's come Munguia, he caught that second win and damn near got him up out of there. But it was a heck of a fight, man. It was a heck of a fight. And then lastly, before we move forward, did you get a chance to see AB? I don't know if you was checking it out on Friday. Did you ever get a chance to check it out?
Nah, I didn't get a chance to watch the fight because I had to work the next day. But I did see Rigo's knockout. He had an impressive knockout. But yeah, everybody's saying Rigo.
Oh yeah. No, I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, I saw his knockout. So, but yeah, if I was the Broner fight, I didn't get a chance to see that. But I'm seeing he's calling out. He wants, he's calling out some big names. But I just don't think Broner's on that level anymore at this point in his career, man.
Nah, not right now. But we'll see. Hopefully AB will be able to do something and be a little bit more successful. But let me go ahead and move to the next thing. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Predictions. Vale, what you think about this fight?
All right, man. This fight is kind of a step back from Tim Tszyu's last fight with Tony Harrison. Even though you can argue that Tony Harrison, he hasn't been the same since the ankle injury, but it's still, Harrison is a top fighter. Campo is like, he had a good account of himself against Fedora, but other than that, outside getting knocked out by Errol Spence in like the first round by the body shot, I can't see him winning this fight. It's things that he does that a lot of this is kind of based off of which Tim Tszyu you see, because the Tim Tszyu that fought Terry Boucher, you can see how inexperienced he was and see him get caught with counters coming in and stuff like that. And he seemed to rectify that once he fought Tony Harrison, a guy that had a pretty much above average jab that can actually catch you with that jab. But Ocampo, he kind of, he has no lateral movement. When he moves straight back, and I think even though it could help him in this fight, if he steps back and is able to catch Tim Tszyu coming in like with a counter right, he could do some damage. But I can't see that happening though. I don't think he has I just don't see it. So I think that Tim Tszyu is going to take Carlos Ocampo. He's going to take him out in, I'll say, around the 6th round. He's going to take him out. So Tim Tszyu, of course, he's coming off that victory of Tony Harrison, and I think that I don't like this fight. I think if you look at it as just a stay busy fight until he gets the Charlo fight, I mean, that's fine. But at the same time, even before the Harrison fight, I always thought that Tim Tszyu needed a fight to get him prepared for that Charlo fight. The Harrison was that fight, but there's nothing wrong with taking, I wouldn't say like a fighter like a Tony Harrison's caliber, but at least a better fighter than Carlos Ocampo that would prepare him for what Jermell Charlo would bring to the table. I think that's key. It could be a lesser fighter, but at least some of those same attributes, like kind of like what Canelo does sometimes when he takes a fight that's like, you may look at it like, man, that's I don't know if I like this fight, but it's preparing him for the next top fighter, and that's what I want to see with Tim Tszyu. So what are your thoughts on that, Will?
Who was that fighter though? Who could he fight that would satisfy what it is you're looking for?
I don't know. I had to look at the rankings, but it wouldn't be Carlos Ocampo. I think it's better fighters at light middleweight than I think we talked about it last week, or we might have what's my man name? Brian Castano. I think that's a good fight for him.
Brian Castano fights nothing like Charlo, so he's just fighting the dude.
Yeah, but at least that's a level up. Carlos Ocampo is just, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, he's just trying to get him smothered. He's trying to get him. He's trying to get him killed, right?
Erickson Lubin.
Man, Erickson Lubin damaged goods. But anyway,
he's not as damaged as Carlos Ocampo.
Carlos Ocampo has had
not even top 10.
All right, let me go ahead and take a look at Carlos Ocampo, sir. So you got alias Chima, 5'10", about the same height as Charlo. See all them victories he has, sir.
40 and 10. That Vincent Martin Rodriguez, 40 and 10. He was like
Ocampo, 35, 2, 23 KOs. But anyway, as far as predictions for this fight, I like so it's a stay busy type fight, man. There's nothing more to say. It's just, make sure that steel is sharp. Fighting somebody who's tough, hits hard, and just being fine-tuned for Charlo. So I like him, like you say, I say 5th round TKO victory for Tszyu. What about you, Ty?
I think it's a good fight, to be honest. Ocampo, even though he lost by that body shot to Spence, he's been on a nice win streak, until he fought Fundora. And, in that fight, I felt that, that the scorecards were a little too wide. I felt he definitely made the fight more closer than what the scorecards have for, Fundora. And I think they were just trying to, give it to Fundora because, he had that, Fundora had that nice name to him. But yeah, if I was just fight, man, it's a stay busy fight, for Tim Tszyu. Hats off to him, for staying busy, not just waiting on Charlo. But I think it's a good fight, man. Ocampo, he comes forward, he definitely throws, but I can't see Tim Tszyu, getting a stoppage in this fight. Yeah, he was dropped by Terrell Goucher, to me, who isn't that good of a fighter, but he beat Terrell Goucher for the rest of the fight. But I see this fight, maybe going to the distance. But as far as him and Tony Harrison, Tony Harrison, he's one hell of a fighter, but his chin, he just got a bad chin. He don't have the best gas tank. So, but that knockout over Harrison was brutal, man. It was like the Charlo rematch. The way Charlo put him out with all those uppercuts. Tim Tszyu, he did it worse, man.
Impressive, man. Like I say, staying busy, staying active, it's all you can do. And the more rounds you get, the better for him, because you don't want to just whitewash somebody unless, again, he just want to make sure his confidence is where it needs to be and everything, then that's cool too. But I think the more rounds that he gets, the better off he's going to be against Jermell Charlo. Also, you got next week, we got Regis. That's not his opponent. His opponent is what's his name, Bill? Did you get a chance to? I tell you what it's.
Yeah, it's Danielo Zarilla.
Yeah, Zarilla. You have a chance to check him out yet? to see what his opponent is like.
Yeah, I did. I mean, Zorilla is actually going to be better than people think. I'm not going to say he's going to beat Regis Prograis, but I think he's going to be better than people predict this fight is going to be. So, of course, Regis Prograis coming in here 28-1. Of course, he had that loss to Josh Taylor that was very, very close. He also has a win over Jose Ramirez. Guy's a boxer puncher. He has. It seems like he's gotten better even since that loss to Taylor, where he has weird defense that off puts guys. You know what I'm saying? He has great reflexes, and he has power. And he knows how to use it. He uses his jab. Probably has more IQ than they give him credit for, because sometimes he just comes off as being a boxer puncher. So Zorilla uses intelligent pressure. He pressures guys, but he always has his hands up. Sometimes he stays on his toes. When you look at the fight against Barbosa, the fight he lost against Arnold Barbosa, he was able to be countered, and I think that's going to be the key. Is Regis Prograis being able to counter Zorilla. Now, Zorilla does, up to this point, he's shown to be, have some tough whiskers to him. So if Regis Prograis is able to get Zorilla out of there, I'm like, I would look at Prograis as being that guy, that top guy. And I'm not saying that I'm high on Zorilla, but Zorilla, when I look at Zorilla, he seems like a tough cookie, tough cookie to crack. So I can see Regis Prograis pretty much taking, outboxing Zorilla and giving a good performance, get a count of himself. And Zorilla just being tough, but not really being able to put a dent into Regis Prograis. So I have Regis Prograis winning a decision over Danielito Zorilla.
I think that I agree with a lot of things that you mentioned. I think Zorilla is a little on the slower side. Barbosa was having some success until the 10th round. 10th round, he almost got Barbosa out of there, and Barbosa was trying to slug with him a little bit too much. Barbosa is like 28 wins, only 10 knockouts, so he doesn't have much pop. But he wasn't having a difficult time finding Zorilla. Zorilla. So with that being said, I think actually that Regis is going to get him out of there. I'm going to say an 8th round TKO victory for Rougarou. What about you, Ty?
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Zorilla, but he's got an impressive record. And I always just rated Prograis high up there, man. He's got one hell of a record himself, man. I look at him as like one of the best, in the division. So I'll probably go for Regis Prograis on this, but I definitely have to see some footage of Zorilla.
Gotcha. All right, and let's see. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Also hit the like subscribe button. Ty's show, Ty Finney, 3319. To be much appreciated. All right, so in the news, man, you got Isaac Cruz. It's a good fight. Isaac it's been added to the Spence Crawford's like the co-main on July 29th. That day that Crawford, the following day is going to be looking like Martin did in that one episode when he fought against Tommy Hearns. This is a fight here that's been added, right? And so do you think that this is a good fight? Do you think it's going to help, build some of the support for this, main event that you're going to have out there in Las Vegas?
Okay, I have two answers to this.
Okay.
This could be a good fight, but I don't think it's going to build anything. It's not going to, unless they do a different way of promoting it. I don't think it's going to build anything up on the Crawford Spence fight, because
you think it's going to help bolster the Hispanic fan base?
Isaac Cruz, yes, he will. Add him to the card wheel, regardless of who he fights. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's probably bigger names you could have put on there. And I'm not saying that Giovanni Cabrera is a bad fight, but he's not the biggest name. I mean, because this is going to be a decent fight, because Cabrera is, he's patient. He doesn't just come in like Isaac Cruz will probably want him to do. But Isaac Cruz, as we call him, bully head, for all the criticism we've given him, he does have a little bit of IQ that's probably more than what people think. You know what I'm saying? Especially as someone he fights the way he does because, of course, he's a short guy, 5'4", with a short reach, so he has to kind of bully his way inside. But when you look at some of the things he does inside, his defense isn't. Even though he does get caught with some headshots and stuff like that, his defense isn't really as bad as you would think for someone who's looked at as a brawler. So I do think this is going to be an entertaining fight that Isaac Cruz come out on top.
How? Like, is he going to come out? What do you think though? Like, is it going to be?
I'm not going to predict it until prediction time.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
but I will say, I was watching something Isaac Cruz, and I saw that someone brought to my attention that same shot that Tank hit Ryan with. Isaac Cruz was blocking that same shot.
Yeah, it's a different trajectory, of where the punches are coming from. But I don't want to get off into that part. But Isaac, as far as this fight is concerned, I think it's going to help the Mexican fan base get a little bit more. Even though this going to sell. This fight's going to sell really well because just two top pound for pound caliber fighters and like the buzz that was just surrounding the fight. You know what I mean? I think it's the perfect time to have the fight. Late July, you don't have football or anything like that. Baseball is going to be, it's not October or anything like that. So it's the perfect time. But also you add Isaac is just going to help bolster the numbers even more. I like the fight. I think it's a good stay busy type fight. Cabrera is a nice fighter. Isaac could use this as an opportunity, to call out Tank once again. And so you can have that, something else to look forward to. So I like it, man. It's a good fight. Two great, I shouldn't say great fighters. I think Isaac is really good. And like you said, there's a method to his madness. He's just running there like a wrecking ball. But he does have some know-how to what it is that he's doing. But again, good fight. What say you, Todd?
Yeah, I had a conversation with my guy Ryan, and he's actually had the opportunity to see Cabrera fight about 6 times live, and so it was good. It was good having that conversation with him. And I don't look at this as the best undercard, but it is Isaac Cruz. He's a pit bull. He's got a lot of power. He's one of the fighters Tank didn't stop. So I'm going for this. I'm probably going for Cruz by, a stoppage. I think this is too early for Cabrera in his career. He doesn't have a lot of pop in his punches. And I think this fight is definitely going to, put him back on a lower level. It's probably going to hurt him financially, but hats off to him, for taking on this test. But I'm definitely going to go for Isaac Cruz, man. And I think once if Cruz wins, that could put him in a position, like you said, possibly a rematch with Tank, or hopefully, him and Shakur can happen. Everybody was calling for that fight at one point, but hopefully we can get talks to that fight again.
Yeah, I think Shakur gonna be on the outside looking in. Them dudes not gonna face him unless they have to. And I don't think it's necessarily a scare factor. It's just the risk outweighs the reward. When you have opportunities to face more lucrative opposition. Also, you have opportunities to face dudes in-house as opposed to splitting the money. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be that side of the street type thing. Shakur going to have to come on over if he's going to get those guys in the ring, with the exception of having a belt, and then they're mandated to face them. Also, you got the fight that's going to take place August 12th, Navarrete versus Valdez. What do you think about that, Bill?
Man, when this fight first got announced, I was like, yeah, okay. But now it's to a point where it's like, let's just get this over with, man. It's like this fight has been postponed, I think, a few times where it's just like, man, it's an exciting fight, but it's not like a huge fight where you're like excited to see. But I do think it's gonna be it's gonna have some good exchanges in there. Emmanuel Navarrete, pretty decent volume puncher, made a lot of waves at 122 and 126. I just think even though he's taller, he's too small. He's naturally smaller than Oscar Valdez, and Valdez has that amateur pedigree that I think is gonna come into play in this particular fight. So it's a weird clash of styles, but I see Oscar Valdez coming on top, winning a decision over Emmanuel Navarrete.
Yeah, I just think he hits too hard. He's too accurate for Navarrete, who isn't hard to hit. And Navarrete is more volume. And I just think those type of guys, Valdez, he likes that type of fighter he doesn't have to find him. And you don't want to get hit too much by him. I would probably, it's either going to be, I think it's going to be a pretty wide decision victory for Valdez, or he might even get Navarrete out of there. What about you, Todd?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for Navarrete. You know, both guys got awesome power. You know, both guys are Mexican fighters. You know, so I'm expecting a war. But Valdez. His fight with Stevenson. You know, even though Stevenson doesn't have pop, Stevenson just made him look so easy. But like I said, both guys are Mexican warriors. Both guys got a lot of power. So I'm expecting the war. You know, I don't know what the game plan for the guys will be. But if they go in there, just let it a brawl, we're gonna have one hell of a fight. But I'm gonna probably go for Navarrete in this one.
That's cool, man. I'm glad that you have a differing opinion. You know what I'm saying? I can't see Navarrete doing it, but hell, I didn't see T.O. beating Josh yesterday either. Also, Benavidez, man. You know, Canelo, I don't know what Canelo's trying to do. He might be trying to get some of that that Munguia smoke now. You understand me? After he looked crazy yesterday. They saying that the fight between him and Canelo not going to happen. And so in October, they're looking, to turn their attention to David Morrell. What do you think about that, Phil?
To me, I look at this a little weird because it's not that like they offered Canelo and he said no. It's like they offered him $50 million, but it's like a week to pass and you're already like, well, be on Morrell now. It's like I get more time than this to accept a job offer, you know what I'm saying, for 5 figures, you know what I'm saying? We talking $50 million, man. Lawyers got to look at that, so they got to look at, like, what's the terms of this contract. That takes longer than 1 week, so that made me think that it was something fishy as far as media-wise, not as far as officially, but more so, like, public relations-wise that was going on where Benavidez just people wanted to just say, hey, we offered him to fight, and he turned it down. And I don't think it's Benavidez himself, but his promoter.
What do you think about David Morrell, sir? Like, what do you think about this fight?
Let me. I'm gonna get to that, but that's what I think about that portion of it. Is like, wow. But getting in the fight with David Morrell, I do think that's a exciting fight. A fight that I always wanted to see. David Morrell, I'm high on him, even though he doesn't have a lot of fights, but he has a storied amateur career. He stepped up pretty fast in his professional career, able to get guys out of there. I think he hurt just about every guy he's been in the ring with. So just hasn't gotten the same opposition where it makes you believe that he can necessarily compete on equal terms with David Benavidez. But he brings things to the table that I don't think either guy is going to come out of this fight not getting touched up. And if they do, I'll be very, very impressed with if who does win this fight without getting touched up. So good fight for both.
That's a cool fight. As far as Canelo, David Benavidez is their team. They always seem to be stand-up people. So if they made an offer to Canelo, I have to think that they legitimately received information that we're not going to fight you. We're going in a different direction. And so they turn their attention towards someone else. If they were fighting a less dangerous type guy, then I would be like, okay, they bluffing. But you don't turn around and fight this dude right here who's very dangerous. And you don't know what he's capable of because he just hasn't been able to showcase his talent against the upper echelon guys. But based on what you see, he's very dynamic. Even more so, looks more dangerous than maybe Plant. It's just Plant is more seasoned and he has more experience. But this is going to be tricky. I still would favor Benavidez. I just think that Morrell's been fighting the same level of opposition as Bill Hutchinson, with AB fought. And Benavidez has had, even though he doesn't have the most impressive resume with the exception of Plant, he was like 2-time champion and things of that nature. And he's been doing it longer. And he does, even though he has the plant fight, like that's the only really legitimate guy that I see on there, like the upper echelon guys. But he did have an old Lemieux, and people like that on his resume, where I don't even see any of that with Morrell. But it's a great fight, I think, as far as matchmaking. And that's going to be two really good fights. If they do that in October, he's going to have back-to-back two very high caliber 168-pound guys on his resume. So that's good, man. And that's why I like David Benavidez. He talks the right talk, and his actions also are ones in which I think makes him a stand-up guy. You know what I mean? Although you do have the wacky guys like the TOs, you do have a few of those good stand-up dudes left that's doing the right things. What about you, Ty?
Yeah, definitely think this is a good fight, man. Both guys are big guys. Both guys got power. And of course, I wanted to be Canelo. Canelo, after the Ryder fight, he was talking about he wanted the Bivol rematch. So, but yeah, this is one hell of a fight. Like you said, David Morrell doesn't have a lot of fights under his belt, but I think that makes him, a lot fresher, a more dangerous fighter. So he'll definitely be going into this fight, with a lot to give, a lot to offer, a lot of energy. But yeah, it's one hell of a fight, man. But I would give the edge to, Benavidez. Like you said, Benavidez he fought the better opposition. He's fought Durrell, he's fought Caleb Plant. So he's fought the better guys. But the thing is, David Morrell, he's got crazy power as well. Because, when he fought the guy, Adel Shabosanelli, he went into a coma after that fight. So he definitely has serious power. So if this fight happens, yeah, man, I'm definitely expecting the war, but I might give it to Benavidez. Probably by decision.
All right, my bad. I'm sitting up here taking a look at something. And then last but not least, man, Joe Joyce, he activated the rematch clause that he had against Jelly Zhang. You think it's going to be a different outcome this time in Septemberville?
It could, but I doubt it. I think in these cases, unless Joe Joyce is going to, learn something new or train different, I think it's too soon for a rematch. I think the same thing is going to happen. But in Joe Joyce's defense, he's not a young guy. So everything that's happened in his career, he has to do it fast and get it over with, because his career is not going to be – I can't see him fighting on for like 10 years, you know what I'm saying? So it's a gutsy move, but it's one that could pay off, and we could be like, okay, wow, if he pulls it off. But Jelly Zhang is just, tough guy, man. And he's always going to have that hand speed advantage over Joe Joyce. And Zhang was one guy that Joyce couldn't consistently get to. Because normally Joyce is able to figure out guys, even though he's slower than them, he's able to figure out where the head's going to be and time it correctly. And with Zhang is like dangerous enough where he can get that respect early. So in a rematch, unless Joe Joyce don't go out there and try to, bang with Zhang and get his attention, I see the same thing happening, because Zhang is not somebody you want to keep on taking punishment from.
Yeah, the way it might end differently is he might be on his backside this time as opposed to because see, here's the thing: when you activate a rematch clause this soon, it wasn't like Wood was against Bronco, because Wood was having success and he was on the verge of stopping him a couple of times, but he just ended up getting caught. So you can change your strategy just to make sure that I'm not putting myself and make myself as vulnerable. He can't get out of the way of that left hand. And no matter what he does, he's not going to get faster. So I see the same outcome. What about you, Ty?
Yeah, I see the same thing happening for sure. Joe Joyce, both guys are really older. Joe Joyce, like I said, he was dominating everybody that was they were putting in front of him. But yeah, Zahn's a different animal, man. He came out, guns blazing. I could see this. I could see the same thing happening in the rematch. And to me, Joe Joyce is, just too slow, man. Not saying that he can't change up anything, But he's just, to me, he's just too slow. Yes, he's got serious power, but he's just too slow, man. I can't see him having anything for what Zhang has to offer, even though Zhang is actually older, but he's still, he's still fast and still a dangerous threat. So I see this. Yeah, I see the fight playing out the same way like it did the first time, unless Joe Joyce has made some serious changes.
I'm trying to figure out what could he do. You understand what I'm saying? And here's the kicker. Zhang might be stronger than Joe Joyce. You know what I'm saying? That's rare. Do you see that? Like when they were, it wasn't like he was able to like the manhandle them or anything like that. It looked like the opposite, especially once he kept tagging him with that left. Like he was just, and not that he was doing what T.O. was doing, but he looked way too comfortable against Joe Joyce. Like, you do anything you want to do, I can go ahead and just, maul you a little bit. Then I just clip you with the left hand. It was way too comfortable, man. Anything else you guys have on that?
Nah.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Also, the Ties channel. Man, I had to slow down, man. I'm going to tell you. This coffee right here, I shouldn't have got this joint, man. That shit too strong. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's why I'm answering questions quick as hell. My heart beating fast. So I have to leave that up to you, fellas, man. In closing, though, man, you guys have anything else you want to share and say before we wrap this one up?
No, just like everyone said, have a great week, everybody. And we'll be back again at it.
Yeah. What about you, Ty?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man. Everybody, same thing. Avella said, everybody, have a good weekend. But yeah, it's boxing. For the rest of June and July, man, we're gonna have a lot of awesome fights. So I'm definitely gonna be glued to the TV with all these upcoming fights, man. And I wanted to add, J-Rock and Carlos Adames coming up in 2 weeks, man. I hate to say it, man, but I think J-Rock better start preparing some funeral arrangements, man. Like, he's got a bad chin, man. I hate this fight for him. I've met J-Rock a few times in person, man. I'm honestly scared for him to take this fight. Yeah, but yeah, man. Definitely want to give a shout out, to Leonardo Tyner for the interview. Yeah, I had some audio troubles, but I got that squared away. But yeah, I definitely want to, give a huge shout out to him for the interview he did with me. And I appreciate you, Vel, for tuning in, man.
Yeah, Tyler, that's a cool dude, man. I listened to the interview, man. Yeah, but shout out to him, man. Shout out to you, brothers. Shout out to my sister Nell, that be always listening. Shout out to LaRon, Nick, Bartley, Greg Murray, all the listeners and the people that keep me active and challenge me every day when I see their comments. So big shout out to those peeps.
All right, fellas, y'all knock it off, man. We don't do shout outs on the show. You understand what I'm saying?
I had to get it out this time.
Right? Just messing with you, Ty. But while we have you here, though, what do you think, man? I know that you leaning towards Crawford a little bit. You think he's gonna get Spence up out of there?
Man, July 29th, man, it's gonna be a fish fry, bro. It's gonna be a fish fry.
Oh, fish fry.
It's gonna be a fish fry, bro. That's all I can say. It's gonna be a fish fry, man.
You think so? My prediction, man. That's Bud. Is he gonna be in the hospital with that little sweater on? He's gonna be like, doing his interviews. But anyway, there's some other things coming up too. Your boy Boots. You going out there?
Oh, for sure. I actually just checked the tickets earlier. They still haven't gone on sale yet. I checked Ticketmaster. I checked the Bagada website. It still hasn't been on sale, but I'm definitely going to keep looking out for it. And like soon they go on sale, man, I'm going to get on it, man. The Bagada, even though it's not a big venue, it's still, my kind of atmosphere. It's not like hard parking. It's not like you're having trouble getting to your seat. Like every seat in the house was a good seat, man. So like where I sat at, it was almost like you was ringside. So those are the kind of fights that I actually would prefer being at, over a big fight.
Right? Yeah, 100% know exactly what you're talking about, Ty. I 100% get that.
It's a casino, right?
Yeah, it's a casino, the Bagada. Like I did go there, for Gary Russell, my Messiah, and like I said, man, for me, that was probably one of the best venues that I've been to. Far as a big fight, even though it's not very big inside, but I would prefer that.
Oh yeah, like the MGM is cool too. For the most part, it's hard to get a bad seat up in them joints.
Yeah, versus them big venues, man. You got to stand up to see anything with your binoculars, man. Yeah, but I like the smaller ones, especially when those big fights. Well, at least big name fights, they happen there, man. You can sit anywhere. You can see some of them, man. Even if you get a seat, you can move down closer, man. They'll let you, man. It's I like the atmosphere. Then you see you have more interaction with local boxers, man. All that.
Yeah.
And now that you mention that, I might think about doing that as well. I'm gonna be on the lookout for some of those tickets. It's just the following week, I'll be in Boston for my birthday, and I don't want to, be dipping too much into my safe. You understand what I'm saying? Because then after that, I'm heading out of the country, and so Boots might have to be. I might have to hit Boots on that whatchamacallit though, on that stream. You understand me? I love Boots, and it's tough because it's so close. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be interesting to see what's on that undercard. Have they said anything about that?
Yeah, they mentioned the undercard. I forget the names, but I believe one of them's name was Adorno or something like that. I know me and Chris G talked about it. Chris said it was actually a good fight, but he said he sees one of the guys getting stopped early. I can't remember the names, but he did say it was a good undercard though.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, this would be what my third time seeing Boots fight live. I actually seen him in the building like 2 other times. So this would be like the 5th time I've been in this building with Boots, man. Definitely a big guy, awesome fighter. And I think this is actually going to be an early KO for him, via slow, but at the same time, he's got crazy power and we don't know what his game plan is going to be. So I'm just expecting a good fight.
It's a KO early. That ain't no good fight. You understand me? But I think I agree. I think that Boots is going to get him up out of there because of that speed. It's going to be such a huge gap, as far as the speed. I think old boy kind of got over in his last fight because, Whatcom was out so long. What's his name?
Rashidi or the Korean dude.
Yeah, Rashidi was out so long, and he was doing so much moving. And Rashidi don't hit like Boots because Rashidi was tagging him a lot. And then Whatcom got a nice chin on him, but like I say, Boots hit way harder, and he's not going to be moving all that like that and running himself out of gas. And so once he started getting tagged, he ain't gonna be able to take them shots from Boots, man.
Facts.
Yeah, we'll see though, man. I don't want to hold you fellas up. That was a good show. I just wish that coffee didn't hit me like Deontay Wilder at that. I thought I was out of there. I'm like, damn. That's why I was like, I'm trying to rush to y'all to answer questions, But I got my second win. You know what I'm saying? I got my Jaime Munguia on. You understand? So, but yeah, man, we're gonna wrap things up, man. I certainly appreciate you, Ty, once again. We're gonna close the show, and again, fellas, please, we don't do shout outs on the show, so don't do that.
Shout out to you, Will. Shout out to Will.
I'm just messing with you, man. Salute to everybody, man. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
All right, peace.
Close that right there.